I've opened 7 self-storage locations over the past 14 years, which generate around £250,000 every single month right now. God, I sound douchey saying that, but in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how I have done it, and so you can just basically copy me, because it's actually quite simple once you know what to do. But I'm warning you, it's not one of those flashy businesses. In fact, some would say it's quite boring, but not me. This is definitely not one of those overhyped, get-rich-quick schemes, side hustles you see everywhere online. But that's exactly why self-storage works. Because while everyone else is chasing the next big shiny thing, the real money is being made that sits around the boring stuff. This business will always be around, regardless if AI takes over the world or not. So, first off, let me show you why self-storage is one of the best, if not the best, businesses you can start in 2026. Because, if I'm honest, I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, alright Dean, this sounds too good to be true. And, in all honesty, I get it. I 100% see where you're coming from. Because when I first came across self-storage as a business model, I thought exactly the same as you. So let me just show you the exact monthly revenue for each of my sites. No fluff, just see actual figures from each of the sites. Let's start with Beverley, my baby, my first site. Beverley opened in August 2022. Beverley's only a really small site, 0.34 of an acre. But it does take a lot of money for the actual size. Beverley's revenue for May 2026 was $21,400. My second site was Willoughby. Willoughby's based in Hull. Willoughby opened in October 2016. To be fair, Willoughby was a risk because it was a massive 30,000 square foot building and the rent was $12,500 every month. My revenue for May 2026 was $92,200. The third bad boy we opened was Clough Road, also in Hull. Clough Road opened its doors in January 2022. It's a beautiful site, as you can see, and it's on a very busy road. Clough Road's revenue for May 2026 was $31,800. The fourth site we actually acquired. We bought it off a retiring couple and it's in Wrexham. I bloody love Wrexham. We bought Wrexham in February 2022. When we bought Wrexham, it was only doing around about $7,500 a month in revenue. Now, in May, it hit $22,600. I'm really proud of that revenue increase me and the team managed to do. In self-storage, if I'm honest, there's only a few levers here and there. What the hell's that all about? You need to pull to maximise revenue, and in Wrexham, we have done just that. And by the way, I'll share that in other videos as well. Up and Buck. Mansfield, is that the fourth site or fifth site? I don't know. Mansfield opened its doors in November 2023. Mansfield is a great location and the area was underserviced. Mansfield's revenue for May 2026 was £43,000. Glasgow, that's exactly how the Scottish say it, and I'm allowed to say it because we employ 2 people from Glasgow. Anyway, Glasgow was a site I signed the lease without, I can't believe I'm saying this, without actually visiting. I'm not actually joking. I signed it by just going on Street View, Google Street View. So it's amazing the information you can get from Google Earth, Street View, etc. Anyway, Glasgow opened in July. I think it opened my actual birthday. July 10th, my birthday, 2024. Glasgow's revenue for May this year was £17,200. My 7th and final site is in South Shields, and to be honest, we haven't actually opened it yet. We haven't taken a penny. It was supposed to open in June, but we've had some setbacks, and it's now going to open up later in July. So the total revenue for those 6/7 sites is £225,000 per month. And again, I feel a bit douchey saying this, but I'm always open and honest. But I know that we're getting new listeners here, but yeah, I understand. Right, you might be wondering why I'm sharing all that. And in fact, do you know what? The question I get above everything else is, if this business is so good, Dean, why on earth would you give everybody the playbook and tell everybody what you're doing? And here is the absolute brutally honest answer. I run a program. Yep, you've got it. I run a program that teaches people how to open their own self-storage site or sites. So I know you're thinking, oh, Dean, so you're doing this to make money. Kind of. But there's a caveat, all right? However, every single penny that I make from the program gets reinvested straight back into opening more self-storage sites of my own. I'm literally teaching it and putting my money where my mouth is. Opening more sites and investing in this awesome business model that is self-storage. I'm not retired on a beach somewhere teaching it from afar, teaching it from a distance. I'm in it every single goddamn day, opening new sites, running the numbers, the projections, making the mistakes that making the mistakes so you guys just don't have to. But that's not to say that I only help people who pay me, because I don't want to get across that. I only help people when they pay me, because that's not what happens. Oh, no. I have the world's longest running self-storage podcast. I know, pretty sad. It's got just about 1,000 episodes. They're all for free. I've literally documented my whole journey on that podcast, and I love it. I send out daily newsletters where I share my actual figures, the revenue, the reservations, the move-ins, the operational advice. All of that is for free. You can join my journey at mrselfstorage.com. Sign up there if you haven't already done so. I also speak at conferences around the world, all for free. Well, it's not strictly for free sometimes. There has been a couple of occasions where I do get paid a speaking gig. I'm as shocked as you, don't worry. So yeah, I get paid a speaking gig every now and again. And obviously, don't forget, there's this absolutely blooming amazing YouTube channel for free as well. So I just wanted to get across there that I'm not just helping people for free. If you want to pay me, awesome. But if you don't, I get it. And by the way, there is a gentleman's agreement for viewing this video. If you're watching, you basically have to subscribe. That's the agreement, okay? So if you're watching right now, press that subscribe button. That's the rules, okay? Just press it, all right? Ultimately, laying cards on the table, self-storage has massively changed my life and my family's life as well. And I know it can change other people's lives as well. So what I'm saying is self-storage is my life. And here's the thing I want you to take away from everything that I've showed you so far. Self-storage, please don't think it's a get-rich-quick scheme, because it really isn't. Nobody is getting a green Lamborghini, a red Ferrari from self-storage in 6 months. It's just not going to happen. However, build this right, build it patiently, that's the key, and you will genuinely get wealthy over the long term. That's the trade. Be patient and you will amalgamate wealth over the long term. It's hard to fail at self-storage. I think that's a pretty good trade. Be patient and we amalgamate wealth. That's a plan anyway. Now, I know where the next objection is as well, because I hear this all the time. Dean, this sounds great, but I don't have hundreds of thousands of pounds sitting around. This is for people with deep pockets, not someone like me. Not true, by the way, not true. Let me introduce you to the Storage Bros. And by the way, they also have a great YouTube channel where they document their journey as well. These two are genuine guys, and they followed my newsletter, they followed my podcast, and even the YouTube channel. And for a while, they was like most people, just watching it, interested in doing it, but not quite convinced it was the right move for them. Here's how all that changed. They were actually renting out a space at a container storage site to store some kitchen equipment for their business. And every time they visited this location, they noticed it was growing. There was more containers being put on site every time they went. And more containers meant more customers, and more customers meant more money. And one day, it just clicked. Hang about a minute. This could be a brilliant business model. So they took less than £20,000 from their existing business. Not a bank loan, not outside investment, just money they already had. And they opened a smallish site. Fast forward to nearly 2 years later, and they have close to 100 units. They're doing over, I think it's over now, £100,000 a year in revenue. And they're already planning their next self-storage site. They're fully invested in self-storage. And by the way, closed down that previous business as well. But here's the part, by the way, I love most, and it comes around full circle. I've actually hired them as coaches inside my program. Each and every single week, they get on live calls with members and teach them exactly how they opened on a shoestring budget. People ask them questions, they give their answers, they give their experience. They did all this recently. They remember every step, and they prove that you don't need a fortune to open a self-storage facility and make it work. The Storage Bros, by the way, I love that name. I asked them where it come from. And they're not brothers, by the way. The Storage Bros didn't have a property background. They didn't have deep pockets, as we've mentioned. They had less than £20,000 and the right information. And guess what? That was enough. So now you're probably thinking, or I hope you're thinking, okay, Dean, I'm absolutely convinced, but where do I even start? Don't worry, I've got you covered in this video. And by the way, this is where most people get overwhelmed and just think, do you know what, I'm not going to bother. Because people assume that the setup must be complicated, but it's really not. So let me just walk you through the 3 things that actually matter. The first decision is indoor or outdoor self-storage. Both will make you money and both are great. I'm still holding 3. Both will make you money and both are great choices. But if you're starting from scratch, I would almost always recommend outdoor first. It's cheaper to set up, you'll hit break even faster, and you can expand just one container at a time instead of committing massive funds to a big shop fit inside a building. Indoor can and probably is more profitable long term, but outdoor is where you'll learn the business without betting the house. The second thing you'll need to know, and this, by the way, is where you can kill a site even before it opens, is location, 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 location. And yes, I know in just about every video I bang this drum, but I bang the drum because it's so important. In 14 years, I've only ever seen one site truly struggle, and it wasn't because of bad marketing, bad management, or don't know what they're doing. It wasn't any of that. It was because they picked the wrong location. Simple as that. There's a supply and demand rule I use to work out whether an area can support another self-storage or not. Listen, I haven't got time in this video to tell you everything about this rule because there's nuances and I just haven't got time in this video, but I can summarize it. And here's a summarization. We simply work out the current amount of self-storage available in a location, in your location, in said location, and compare it to the amount of people. It's almost as simple as that. It's called the square foot to capita rule, or even simpler said, square foot of self-storage to people. Simple as that. It's very simple to apply once you understand this rule. The third thing you need to know, and this is what surprises most people, self-storage can be run almost entirely without you. By the way, I said almost, okay, almost. Don't get all hatey in the comments and say it's not possible, it's not passive. I'm not saying it's passive. I'm saying that it's one of the best, nearly passive businesses that you can start. One of my clients, for example, he met only 5% of his customers. The other 95% of him found him online, booked a unit online, paid online, and signed their agreement online. And they moved in without a single conversation with him. I think that's pretty amazing. And it's very simple. The right software and an automated gate system is all it really takes. So look, you've seen the real numbers from my 7/6 sites. You've seen 2 guys open their first site for less than £20,000 and now they're hitting £100,000 in revenue. By the way, that's revenue, not profit, so just want to be clear. And you've got enough of the basics to know this is genuinely simpler than most people think it is. But here's the thing I want to leave you with. When I opened my first site, self-storage was one of the most overlooked business models in the UK. Hardly anyone was talking about it. The sites I found were undersupplied. The competition was minimal, and getting in felt like finding a gap nobody else has spotted yet. That gap is still there, but it is getting smaller. Not dramatically smaller, not overnight, but a little more each and every single day as most people start to realise what I realised 14 years ago. To be honest, the podcast, the newsletter, and this YouTube video isn't keeping the secret very secret anymore. The operators that are getting in now are still getting in really, really early, but that window won't stay open forever. The opportunity window will close at some point. If you're serious about this, then getting into self-storage now is the answer. And the next step is my program. Honestly, I truly believe it. Inside the program, by the way, I won't go into it too much, I won't bore you. You'll get the full location formula, how I find undersupplied areas, the complete setup roadmap from site location to the how to deal and get your first customer, weekly calls with the Storage Brothers, weekly calls with me, you lucky people. And the Storage Brothers, by the way, 2 people who did exactly what you're thinking about doing. On a budget, most people would say isn't enough to open a self-storage. There's also 5 other coaches inside the program, but honestly, I won't bore you with who they are and what they do. They just add value to members inside the program. Anyway, I won't bang on about the program. You know and I know that I think it's great, and if it's right for you, fantastic. Go and have a look. There's a link somewhere. I don't know. There's a link somewhere. If it's for you, awesome. I'll see you in the inside of the program. If it's not, no dramas. I'll see you in the next video, which is... I don't know. It's somewhere around here. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.